In our last session, we talked about four major verticals in the financial services industry. And it's represented by these four areas: banking, real estate lending, investments, and insurance. One, two, three, and four. So, as we know, we don't do anything up above here. We focus on the bottom pieces. With the FINRA, with investment FINRA, and on the insurance side, and licensed by the state, we're able to work with 120 institution and 60 companies as brokers. So 60 companies here, 120 companies here. So insurance is regulated by the State Department. Investment are regulated federally by FINRA, FINRA. We don't just represent one company, we represent the client to a multitude of these companies. Now, what we see often in the industry is that when people go out and seeking help, they typically look at investment professional. They're looking at a tax professional. They're looking for attorney, and they're looking at insurance professional. So there are four distinct group of professionals working in silos, and they don't always coordinate working with each other. So this is where we come in and differentiate ourselves. So we come in over here and we use this platform called the PFS, and we bring all these pieces together. We coordinate the strategy instead of allowing the advice from each of these siloed area stay fragmented. So our process is very simple. First process is first step is step one is we do background. We learn more about the client. We know what's important to them, who they are, where they are in life. And then the second thing is we educate the client. We provide education. Nowhere in this industry where I have found where people can go and get education, people just get, if I seek advice of an investment advisor, or they just do the work, they don't even bother to educate me. Then the third piece is we look at needs and need gaps. And then based on those gaps, some are really well cared for, some still needs to be addressed. So if they've done a really good job, we check, good job, well done, well done, well done. But if there's certain areas that still need assistance, then we go to the solutions, the fourth part, which is we're identifying the solutions that's going to make sense for them. But the first step is we really go back and understand the person. We understand the family, the income, the goals, the concerns. All of this is in the background piece. We get to understand it. And then from there, we educate them. We educate them on things like the financial concept, how money really works, how tax are applied, the tax now, tax later, never taxed. Then we identify the needs and the gaps, protection gap, tax inefficiencies, retirement shortfalls. So we really go through a whole litany of things to make sure that we've completely understand. Of course, it's all based off of this PFS above. And then from there, we look from multiple angles and looking at different institution. Obviously, all of this work we're doing is no cost, zero cost to the client. Zero cost to the client. Okay. And then from when we get the solution passed, when the solution is identified, and we can go to multiple institutions to get the solution from. Obviously, no cost to the client. These different institutions will pay us, will compensate us on a commission based on what solution we're getting for the client. So there's no fee to the consumer of our strategy session. Okay, so that's pretty clear. So let me clean this up for a second here. Now, there are 6 pillars in achieving the financial independence, and those pillars could be identified by estate, college, tax, investment, insurance, and retirement. These are the 6 pillars to financial independence. Estate planning, as we know, is basically controlling and transferring of assets. College planning is education, funding, strategies. And how do we strategize to where we can be eligible for maximum student aid from the government, for example? So tax planning is minimizing tax exposure. Investment planning is growth strategies. And there's many different investment planning vehicles that we can put clients in. Insurance planning is for protection strategy. And of course, retirement is how not to outlive our retirement fund and how to live a carefree life in retirement. So there's this concept that we also look at. At the bottom of this thing, we want to make sure, just like building a house, here is estate planning. We have protection. We have emergency fund. We have debt management. There's cash flow. Sorry, this thing needs to get up a little bit. Cash flow. And then up here we get to needs funds and funds at the very peak. Okay? So just like building a house, we must build a foundation first. Most people try to invest before protecting. And we know that never really works. While I explain this, I always give people 4 options. So the first option that we offer is this PFS. Again, we talked about this earlier. It comes free. Okay? 0 cost. We review their profile. We identify needs and gap. We provide recommendation. And we are paid by the institution over here. So that's option 1. So option one is we do PFS. Option number two is they come in and pay $125 for a criminal background check, misdemeanor, fraud, felony, and if approved, we receive a code. That code is very important. That code will represent you, your ownership in this business, and it's a code that as you grow it, you build it. Eventually, if you no longer want to be in the business, you can also sell that code. It gives you access with that 125. It gives you access to online academy. It provides you access to Zoom training Monday 10 a.m. It also 6 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Pacific, and then Saturday 10 a.m. Pacific. Okay. So what we teach in all of these classes, let me clean up some of this over here. What do we teach in these classes? So what we teach is highly relevant and congruent with what we just talked about earlier. We teach financial classes, talk about taxes, talk about investments, talk about Social Security, talk about retirement, talk about college planning, talk about estate planning, disability, dollar cost averaging, and we do case illustrations in different situations so people can see examples of how different solutions fit different families' needs. On the other side, we also provide business classes as well. Business classes, we provide prospecting, because when we're new in the business, we're entirely new in the business. We don't know where do we look? How do we even prospect for new clients or new people to join us in the business? We teach about closing. We teach about communications. We teach about client servicing, because we need to service our client. We teach about communications, how to communicate, different personality types, how to deal with different personality type, how to build relationships, how to adapt to different situations, and then leadership, family leadership, workplace leadership, could be community leadership. And as we transition ourselves from a contributor to a leader, all of this become very, very important. Even if you never pursue this career, one of these four areas will absolutely benefit you. So, a lot of people, so option three is a lot of people come in, and again, we help them with the PFS, number one. Number two is they pay the $125 and start learning. And number three is they go, hey, I'm going to start. I see what you're making here. I like to earn. So anywhere between $200 to $400 more, you can get licensed study materials, typically about $35 discounted, exam fee, varies state to state, fingerprinting, continuing education. All of this built in, it's roughly $200 to $400. And then the FINRA license, if you want to go forward and get security license, it's about $1,500. Okay, most people start with a state license, this one just to get going. And so as we get licensed, there are two models. Model A is your referring business, your business referral. You, me, me, and then I engage the client. You refer, I do all the work, and we split commission 50-50. Legal, because you're licensed, so we can legally split that commission. Option B is we go out in the field. So part of this learning is we go out in the field. That's you, that's your trainer, that's the trainee, this is the client. So you and your friend, you have personal trust between the two of you. I'm the trainer, I bring professional trust to your client, and together you and I have a professional relationship, so together we can serve the client properly. It's still 50-50 that we talked about. Once you become independent, eventually after writing 10 plus cases or so, depending on which type of cases, you could be 100% on your own and start doing your own thing. But this field training is very, very critical as part of the process. So you're doing that as you're coming to classes and learning. Option four, there's 1, 2, 3. Option 4 here is you're really building the business. You're building the business. So I'll explain. What does that mean? So you're just not referring business, but now you're saying, okay, now I can do this business. So you need to learn how to recruit, you're mentoring, you're training, and you're earning an override. Just like a real estate owner, broker earn override from the agent that they brought into their agency and spend time training them, getting them into the field, learning the ropes, watch the broker close a couple of deals, and so that's the override from the agent. So just to recap, these 4 boxes, so there's PFS, option 1, option 2 is learning, 125, option 3 is earning, part-time or full-time, and option 4 is really go out and building a big business with teams and expanding it nationwide. So out of these 4 options, which one is most relevant for you at this time? Well, sounds great. So we'll proceed to target going with option 4. Thank you. We'll schedule in the next meeting again to go through what option 4 really means.